hello, and welcome to Right Hook podcast, the Right Hook. I am Steve Hook, and it's good to be with you. Happy Friday to you. We are watching the country. Well, not really the country. Certain population centers in the country lurch as far left as anyone would have thought possible in our lifetime. In New York City, of course, it's very popular to be a socialist democrat or a democratic socialist, I guess. So I don't know what they're calling themselves, but a rose by any other name is still a commie, and that's what they're embracing there. Joining me to discuss all of this and more, our friend Michael Lauber, of course. Michael, hello there, brother. How are you? Good to see you as always, and it's always good to be on your show as well, man.
Happy Friday. Yeah,
Yeah,
we got all kinds of fresh hell awaiting us as per usual.
yeah, your show may become prophetic. The title, the insurrection. I mean, because what's going on in New York, and it's not just New York that these socialists are getting elected, and I would just say that this is more of a concern than I think a lot of people are willing to give it credit for.
Yes.
I mean, do you agree? People tend to roll their eyes and say, "Oh, well, this is New York City. What do you expect from those idiots?"
Yeah.
But it's really beyond that. It's happening in Michigan. It's happening. I mean, just pick your state, and even if it's not in your state, let me tell you something, Michael, and I think you would agree the younger generation of this country. I don't know. I think probably COVID is a lot to blame with this. I know what's going on in the colleges and universities. America
Yeah.
sucks. Capitalism sucks. White patriarchy. Blah blah blah. Problem is, a lot of people are believing this in these generations, and that's how these communists, and they are communist, are getting elected in New York. Like Mandami, he's all of a sudden the kingmaker in that part of the world.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do think that's part of the problem. And yeah, I mean, with a lot of younger voters in this country, it's also, the economic conditions they're in right now. That it is hard, especially again, if you had, if you were a programmer or in the tech industry that is imploding right now because of AI. Um, we've lost hundreds of thousands of jobs in that field that were highly paying, and nobody wants to blame themselves or whatever. So instead, they look for an external problem. Oh, it's capitalism. It's the rich. That's the reason we're having this problem right now. It isn't. But yeah, the universities and our schools in general are definitely the main problem because I mean it's indoctrination now from kindergarten through college. We've got to take our schools back, remove a lot of these blue-haired moonbats that have infested our educational system, and prevent them from ever having contact with kids again.
Well, I'll tell you what, New York City is about to pay a very heavy price for that, and they don't know it yet. They're still in the honeymoon phase of communism.
Yeah.
Uh, and of course, we know what happens. Democrats, there you go. Democrats' communist revolution will destroy America if the right doesn't take it seriously. And I couldn't agree with that more.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what just happened in New York because a lot of people aren't even aware of this, I guess, if they live outside of the. I mean, I live on the Jersey Shores. I'm an hour drive away from the city. I'm happy to say I haven't been there in a long time, but I've been there plenty. And I mean, I've always loved New York City as a city. Once you start talking about the politics of the city, well, that's another thing altogether. But Zoran Mandami just won this his housing. What he's basically going to do, he's telling every landlord in New York that you are no longer allowed to raise your rent at all. And by the way, we're gonna freeze all of your rents where they are now. Now, I guarantee you the taxes aren't going to stay low because Zoran Mandami is also promising free grocery stores and public transport and a whole bunch of other stuff that he's never going to be able to deliver on. But what he will do in the meantime is take these landlords and these property owners in the city. He will bankrupt them, force them to sell. They will sell to Zoran Mandami's friends. Certain select people will get these properties at a cut rate, and that's how New York is going to be turned into a shithole. And some people are just naive enough not to understand that that's what is about to happen in New York, and they're going to find out the hard way.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's just getting started. Already they've had his little grocery stores. I know the one didn't even last 24 hours before it had to be closed down. So a lot of these promises he's either not going to be able to deliver on, and some of them he has already admitted. But he balanced the budget by borrowing against their future in a bailout from um, New York's state government from Kathy Hochul. Um, but this is not going to be sustainable. It's not going to continue. And all his little DSA operatives that he just got elected, 3 of them. I mean, these people are Islamists and communists as well. We'll dig more into that, but this article, let me bring it back up on screen here again, is great. It's over up on Liberty Daily. If you guys want to check it out. Part of the real danger here is the right's doesn't seem to be taking it seriously either, or at least far too many are not, and that they're going to start running these kind of candidates all over the country that are in alignment with the DSA principles because, hey, who's actually donating money to the Democrats right now? Well, it's these lunatics. It's their fringe base. They've only got, I think it's $3 million on the books right now. For the upcoming elections. The RNC is not doing much better. They're at $100 million, but that's nowhere near where you need to be with spending for elections. So both sides are very frustrated, not to mention a lot of people don't have the extra money right now to donate for political causes, but the left sees this as their only avenue to fundraise. And this is where the youth are in their party. And they're the ones controlling things and driving the bus right now, even if it's headed right at a wall. This is what they.
I would just say this, and this is why we call the show: is it a red wave or a red herring? And by red wave, we're not talking about conservatives versus liberals here. We're talking about red as in communist red, and
no.
So the reason that some of these people aren't taking it seriously, like you just alluded to, Michael, is because they think it's a red herring. They're like, well, it's Manhattan. What do you expect? New Yorkers are going to vote for free shit every time. And they are. There's no question of that. But this is not just an outlier. This is happening in Michigan. Now, mind you, all of these places it is happening are decidedly blue. There's no doubt about that. But as these cities fall, and they will fall, the popularity of the honeymoon phase, like I said, is growing amongst kids largely because of what you just said. A lot of them are either unemployed or unemployable, or hey, look, you're talking to a guy that worked in radio for over 40 years, and I can tell you radio has taken it in the neck for a long time. You talk to anybody under the age of 35 and ask them what their favorite radio station is, and they're like, Spotify, Apple Music. So I get the pain of that. I was fortunate that the industry kind of started wrapping up as my career was wrapping up, but I'm a lucky one. So I get that. But communism, really? And the Democrat, Michael, I'll tell you this. I remember I did a show years ago called Right Hook Radio. That's why I kind of flubbed the intro to this show today. I said then, after AOC, and this would have been 2018 when they were sworn in January 2019. So that was 8 years ago. And I said, Nancy Pelosi is going to rue the day that she put any of these new quote unquote squad members. They weren't even called the squad then. They were just, everybody knew they were far left bomb throwers. I said, she's going to rue the day that she puts this woman in charge of any kind of committee because she will take this party over. And they've done that, haven't they?
Oh, yeah. Well, but this is the thing. Like, it isn't just New York. And, James Talrico in Texas is another good example. And I get it now. Paxton's, got about 90% chance of victory there, both according to the prediction markets and polling numbers. Not that he has 90% of the vote, but his chances to win are at 90%. But it isn't just there. You have a slate of these candidates in Colorado. You've got one in Georgia. That's in a seat that the Democrats control because, again, Georgia is filled with losers that will not redistrict. They blocked the effort there until after the next election. Now, our governor here in Ohio, same thing. He's now not allowing block the provision for voter ID here in Ohio. So somebody needs to override that veto. But anyway, we're going to have a slate of these coming in California. There's going to be a literal socialist jihadist bloc in the federal government because make no mistake, these 3 losers running in New York, they are going to win their races. These Republicans that say, oh, well, if we put somebody good against them in New York, well, one, that's already over with. You have not filed in time to run against them. 2, there is zero possibility that a Republican is winning in any of these seats. This is parts of New York that are deep blue, that they are even if you had a viable alternative, they just aren't going to show up. So these you might as well go ahead and these are your members of Congress. Now, I do like what some people have been discussing too is they should refuse to seat any of them. Any of them that are DSA socialists or whatever, it is not illegal to discriminate against communists and socialists. So Congress could technically refuse to seat them. And I think that's what we should probably do is have that battle because the law in the books is definitely going to protect that viewpoint. And
Now we'll see how that goes. I kind of doubt it.
well,
But
yeah.
I do agree with you. I do agree with you. I would say, listen, this is how bad it's gotten. This is exactly how bad it has gotten.
Mhm.
The smarmiest politician in the world, now that Eric Swalwell is out of the picture, is who? It's Gavin Newsom.
Mhm.
Gavin Newsom is now resorting to begging California voters to vote no on the billionaires tax. Now, you, they're to the left of Gavin Newsom, and he's losing control as this mass exodus of U-Haul trucks and camper trailers, and looks like a damn scene out of a damn refugee movie. People fleeing out of California as fast as they can, and the Dems in that state Senate and that's the state government are so hard left that Newsom, who was supposed to be the great white hope, I thought, is now begging Californians, please vote no on the billionaire tax because he knows what it's going to do.
Well,
If
he's
they,
the one that proposed it to begin with.
I know it. He proposed it, and that's my point. So he tries to appease to one side, which are commies,
Yeah.
and there's no appeasing communism. There's no appeasing it. You can never be a happy communist. I've never met one.
No.
But you can be a very powerful communist. And so he was trying to appease this left-wing fringe. Isn't even so fringe anymore, is it? It's more and more
Well, no,
mainstream.
they're going to take over the party. And
Yeah,
that's
they've already all but taken it. And I think that all of these old scumbag Democrats that have gone along and sat there and said nothing about this. I mean, Hakeem Jeffries. I mean, are you kidding me? You think that guy's any kind of a leader?
they showed up at his event the other day and said, "You're next." Literally.
Yeah.
I wish I would have grabbed that video. But the DSA leader up in New York has been saying, that they basically wear being Democrats as a skin suit because they need their infrastructure to get people elected. Like these people know what they're doing.
Purge the party. And then they purge the party.
Yeah,
Hey, where have we seen this movie before?
pretty much. But yeah, I mean, I think you're going to get a pretty big wave of them in this next election because there's other Looney Tunes out there running in other states that are DSA. But I mean, to go back to what I was saying a minute ago with Congress not seating them, several of them like this. I just blanked on her name. Well, both the ones that ran in New York. One of them, while she was in school at Columbia, started a group there that wasn't just anti-Israel, but was also their stated goals were to bring down Western civilization in the United States of America. The other one, same thing. She's in sort of a group that wanted to overthrow capitalism within the United States. So you've already got legal grounds not to seat them. These are their recent words, what they ran on. So time to stop being wimps and actually enforce the law. And when if it goes all the way up to the Supreme Court, they're going to have to rule on the law, which means no seats. So time to start playing hardball with these people.
Well, it is time, and it's time to do it before it becomes abundantly clear that that's the only way you're going to be able to deal with them because they're never. You can't negotiate with
Yeah,
someone who feels no compunction whatsoever about telling every property owner in New York City you can no longer adjust even your basic rent. You can't even adjust that for inflation, by the way,
no,
folks. So he's just screwed that entire city, but that's what communists do. They take over everything, and then they blame the guy who isn't complying.
no.
I'm wondering if New York is going to implode in time to wake a whole bunch of people up because these young people that are going through life thinking that communism or socialism or Democrat socialism or whatever name they want to put to communism, which is what it is,
Yeah.
that they think that is good. That's frightening to me. I just can't even fathom young people. They're destroying their own futures if they embrace this garbage. And and they certainly don't learn from the past. In fact, they'll rip down statues from the past just to show you how much they don't give a damn about the past. So,
Well, yeah, and they've been indoctrinated for years and years in the halls of academia, and a lot of them see themselves as fellow academics. They want to be smart. It's the opiate of
of the world.
professors.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all think that somehow this is, at the end of the day, my research and my papers say this is the best way to form a society. However, it doesn't take into account human nature, greed, or anything else, or the fact that literally every communist country on earth is either already imploded or is just a totalitarian state. Over 200 million have died under the boot of communism, but good luck getting any of them to admit to that. It just hasn't been done right yet.
We're the people we're the ones we've been waiting for. Remember, that's what
Yeah.
Obama used to say. We're the ones. It's never been done. Well, that's because it's never been done right. It's never been done properly. Oh, it's not.
Yep.
It's never really been true communism. They have all these stupid sit around the campfire at a keg party at a college anywhere USA and get into these stupid debates. And I used to get into it myself when I was at college, but it's just you can't reason with these people because they know more than you do, Michael. And they know more than I do. I mean, after all, they're 24 years old. They know everything. It's hard to argue with people that are so
Well,
completely convinced of their own ignorance.
Well, and it's based on their feelings, not the facts.
Yeah.
If you don't bring up the right facts, they don't want to address those, or they shoot the messenger. And unfortunately, that's the same problem a lot of people on our side are starting to have too when it comes to some of the current disagreements too, is they want to base it more on their feelings and loyalties than the reality we're facing. But yeah, you can't reason with people like that. They're idiots. My bigger concern with like New York and other places is who's going to get stuck foot in the bill, because they are going to demand a bailout at some point. And unfortunately, I think a lot of these weak rhinos and others will capitulate. We'll give them the money. We'll bail them out for their mistake rather than just letting the city and the state implode as we should. If this is what they voted for, that's clearly what they wanted. And I think, unfortunately, whether there's good people there or not, or all the other excuses we hear, you have to just let them. You have to just let the situation unfold as it would naturally. Let them suffer for a while, and then maybe if there's a real turnaround at some point in the future, and they do want to get back on a better path and away from all this nonsense, then we can consider out some kind of help. But otherwise, you're going to have to just let it turn into a hellhole.
It sounds like a parent saying that we're going to ground you, even though it's going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you. We're going to
No.
ground you. Well, I mean, I get it. I mean, I get the frustration. I also that's exactly why the mass exodus in California is happening. That's why it is
Hmm.
happening in New York right now. I know for an absolute fact. And people, oh, it's anecdotal. Yeah, damn right, it's anecdotal. I've talked to a lot of people about it, and a lot
No.
of people are fleeing. A lot of people are sending their kids away from New York schools, even if they live in Manhattan or the Lower East Side or the Upper West Side, wherever they live. They're
Hmm.
sending their kids across the river to go to private schools and parochial schools in New Jersey. I wonder
No.
why they're doing that, because they know what's about to happen there in New York. If I lived in New York, and thank God I don't, I would be hot footing it out of that damn city as fast as and I'm talking about New York City here, but for that
Yeah.
matter, New York State. So one and a half, six and a half in one hand, half a dozen in the other, I guess, when
Pretty
we're talking
much.
about New York. Hochul, like you said, helped prop this idiot up. Oh, he's got a balanced budget. No, he doesn't. You clowns. He's handed that debt off to your kids and your grandkids and even you. And you're just too naive to understand it. It really is crazy. What else is going on, Michael?
Let's see what else we got. Yeah, he'd hand it off to just the white kids if he could, but unfortunately, he's already
Yeah.
been smacked down on
Worse a
that a
couple
couple times. Well, and I'm going to fly through a couple of these here real quick. Supreme Court Supreme Court sides with Trump administration and major 6-3 immigration win makes it far easier to deport criminal green card holders accused of crimes involving moral turpitude. Federal judge court bats down Biden judge, sides with Trump, says ICE can resume swift deportations. Victory. DHS praises SCOTUS decision as big win against activist judges attempting to thwart Trump's immigration agenda. And you can already see the left freaking out because of this, but essentially now this ends the majority of the lower court decisions where they block Trump removing temporary protected status from various groups of illegal aliens. Sotomayor, did you see Sotomayor's example
Just
on
read.
why Yeah, her dissent on. Did you see the example in her dissent of
I
why
didn't see the
this is a
example, but I
pat?
read part of it.
Oh, it's hilarious. So she the reason she said was against this because a lot of this is about like, Biden was both paroling people into the country illegally. The parole system for illegal aliens, it's not the same as paroled from prison. What it's supposed to be is like, you're paroled into the country. You were here illegally, but you're allowed to stay a little while longer because you were a key witness in a court case or a crime, or there's some other lawful reason that their presence is necessary beyond the stay of their visa or that they're here illegally. But anyway, so this was what Biden was using to release people, infinity illegal aliens into the country. So, and they were not doing this according to the law either. Big surprise there. Same with the other people. They were granting asylum visas, and there were people that were claiming asylum. Well, that has to be done at
temporary protective status.
Well, that has to be done on U.S. soil. You don't get to do that through an app on the phone or at the consulate down in Mexico or wherever else. That's not how the law is written. So Sotomayor said, well, when you fly into Washington, D.C. into Dulles Airport, that airport's actually in Virginia. But the pilot, when they're landing that plane, they welcome you to Washington, D.C. That was her logic for the dissension. Everybody already knows she's borderline retarded. I mean, she's a step above Ketanji Brown Jackson, but not by much.
That's a low bar.
Yeah, I mean, she might actually be retarded. But anyway, this doesn't hold up. First of all, the pilot has no legal authority. They are not an ambassador of Washington, D.C., so they can say whatever the hell they want. They could welcome you to Guatemala when you touch down at Dulles, and it wouldn't have any ramifications of anything. The other thing that some people are pointing out is, a lot of airports are not technically in the city or even the state that they're in. Like Cincinnati, their airport's actually in Kentucky, for those of you that didn't know. Even the airport here in Dayton, where I live, it's not in Dayton, it's in Vandalia.
Well, but there's still another one. I'll give you another example. It's not even an airport. And yeah. It is a business, and I talked about it before, radio. A lot of radio stations that you listen to that say, WABC or whatever it is, WXYZ, whatever it may be, and they'll say something like Portland, Oregon. They may be 45 miles outside the city of Portland, but they transmit from a tower that is somewhere within those city confines, even though they're not. So, and that's FCC compliant and all that. So I'm going to find it hard. I do find it a little bit laughable that Sotomayor would try and use a welcoming from a pilot as some kind of reason for dissension among telling people that got a temporary protective status, that temporary means not permanent. I mean, good God.
Well, and a lot of these people, like, this is a big part of the case, like some of the Haitians, they've been here 20 years. If you still haven't bothered to become a U.S. citizen, or look at a lot of the Syrians, because that was another group that specifically got everything removed, because that's the left's argument now is going to be they're going to go to every individual group and try to make them fight for that, even though this seems to be a broad decision saying that Trump can terminate temporary protected status, but they're not handling it well. Democrat freak out over Haiti TPS ruling. American families are losing amnesty after 20 years. They're pillars of our economy. Again, it's emotional manipulation because they've lost the legal argument, and this is again all they have. But we got to,
Michael. If I can just weigh in on the whole Haitian thing, for these Democrats acting like they give a damn about Haitians, where were you when Bill and Hillary were raping that country? Where were you when they were pocketing tens of millions of dollars through their phony Clinton Foundation and their global initiative programs? Yeah. They didn't give a rip about Haitians. They don't really care about Haitians. No, they don't. They don't care about them. They care about a voting bloc. They care about congressional maps. That's what they give a damn about. It's so obvious to anybody that even knows the first thing about what's going on. But whatever. Maybe I.
Oh, no. I mean, again, they could care less about these people. I mean, look how quickly they abandoned black voters and Hispanic voters in Chicago. When the illegals showed up, they became priority number one. They threw them out of shelters. They took over community centers. This is just like the new hotness because they need to control the apportionment.
We've already got your vote.
Yeah. We don't give so now we got to figure out how to get all these illegal migrants from Venezuela, the Trinidad Agua. We need the valued MS-13 Trinidad Agua vote. That's what it's about now. And and here they don't care at all that these Haitians in Springfield, Ohio, where they eat the cats and dogs, are only being paid, 3/4 to 2/3 what an American's paid for the same job. Some in some places now, literally down to half. By the way, they don't care about any of that. I mean, this is a natural extension for the Democrats. They always like their slaves, and right now, illegal immigration is essentially just legalized slavery. So they're just fine with it.
Let me just say this, and I think that you would agree with this. Let's just say, okay, these Haitians have been here in some cases 20 years and sometimes even longer, uh, under a TPS, a temporary
Yeah.
protective status. Um, had in that lengthy period of time, they decided, you know what? I love what America has done for me. I'm going to become a citizen. I'm going to file my papers to become a citizen. I'm going to do everything I can to be an upstanding member of society. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to raise my
Yep.
family here. We're going to raise the American flag on my front. You and I would be saying more power to them. We would
Yeah.
say good for them. Good for them. They're coming to America because they believe in America. Now, here we are, a couple of white guys, and everybody out there that doesn't think like us is going to scream, you're racist for saying this. I don't give a damn if they all come from Switzerland or Sweden. If they're going to be sending all their money back to Switzerland and Sweden and saying, screw America, I'm Swiss or I'm a Swede or wherever the hell, whatever. I'm
Yeah.
not going to be down with that. And I don't think it's a stretch to think most Americans kind of like the fact that we see these Europeans coming for the World Cup. I mean,
Yes.
a lot of us are kind of filled with pride at how fascinated these folks are with our country. How
Hmm.
many of them I've seen videos of these people almost on the point of tears saying, we owe you an apology. Well, we've been completely lied to about you people have been so welcoming and friendly. Um, and this is not who we're talking about, though, is it? We're talking
No.
about people that you're right. The Democrats have used them um, as a block forever. They just don't really
Well,
give a damn about them.
and a lot of them, it is just a matter of a conflict of cultures, and we have to be honest about that. That they've grown up in places where it's normal to get yours first or rip off the government, robbery and all that are a way of life. I mean, that's why most people, until more recently, what most people knew about Somalis was, hey, piracy. It's still alive and well there. And now that we've imported all these Somali pirates, and they're doing what pirates do. Same with the Haitians. I don't care if some dude that calls himself Barbecue is your de facto president down there right now. You gotta go. So, you know what? Maybe you guys should go make Haiti great again, especially if we're going to send people back en masse. Let them arm up first, and maybe they can overthrow President Barbecue down there.
Well, I do know that I worked in Miami with some Haitians, and they were good guys. But guess what?
Oh,
Both of them, both the dudes that I worked with, well, one of them was an American citizen,
yeah.
and one of them was in the process of becoming an American citizen. They were really good guys. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. But this is different because this group of people they were brought in by the planeful under the Obama administration, of course, under the Biden administration. That Biden, that's a Freudian slip, but same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Still accurate.
Yeah, still accurate. When Biden threw open the southern border and just allowed these caravans in, that's the people we're really mostly talking about here. And the ones that have had protective status for 20 years and have done nothing with it, but
Yeah.
stayed in the bottom tier of a government grubbing, give me my freebies. Well, you haven't shown that you have any desire to become an American, work towards a better country. I don't have
Y-
much sympathy. And I'm
You're
wondering,
not.
how fast do you think it's going to be? But Mark Wayne Mullen, I got to tell you, I'm pretty impressed with this guy. But what do you think is going to end up happening? Are we going to start seeing a lot more
Well, Tom
deportations?
Holman says they just swore in 10,000 new operatives, and they're going to start working on cleaning up little Haiti up here in Springfield, close to where I live. So
Yeah.
good.
And
I hope it starts.
that area was created specifically by the Democrat Party. It's not like
Yes.
not like everybody in Haiti and Port-au-Prince was saying, if I had my druthers, I would rather live in Springfield, Ohio.
Yeah, a town of 55,000 people. I mean, that place is destroyed. I need to get back up there again and just give everybody a tour. But I mean, it wasn't in great shape beforehand, but it's disgusting now. It's a freaking war zone. Um, But yeah, if you've been here for this is what I was gonna say. Yeah, I don't care where you're from or what you're doing. If you're not contributing to something and building up America, get the hell out of here. We really need to pass a law that forbids anybody that's here that is not a U.S. citizen, and I mean I mean exactly that. If you're here and you are not an actual citizen, no welfare, no anything. You got to go home if you can't support yourself. We are not the world's welfare check, and we've got to stop pretending we are.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's if you I'm not playing devil's advocate here, but I'm just going to give you their answer. They're going to say, "Well, then you're a racist."
That's
Now,
fine.
mind you, the fact that every single country in Europe has laws like that on the books, they're not racist. And of course, their countries are being completely overrun by North African Muslims and other. I mean, we see what's going on in London, in
Yeah.
Ireland, in Paris. You had a story about a kid in Paris getting beaten to death by these
Yep.
African Muslim immigrants. That's what happens when you just all of a sudden say anybody that believes in the betterment of their country is a racist. Well, you get what you see happening in France. You get what
Yeah.
you see happening, and I don't think so, mate. I think you called him a. I think you were a racist, mate. And then a 18-year-old kid died. What was he? 21. That kid that died in London. He
I think
was
it was a
young.
little older than that. I think it was like, yeah, close enough. But yeah,
He was young,
yeah,
and he said
yeah,
the guy stabbed me. I don't think so, mate. This is what happens when you start falling into this leftist mind virus.
yeah. Well, yeah, and Europe's on fire right now. We'll get more to that here in a minute. But at the end of the day, it is not our job. It's not our responsibility to take care of the world's trash. Most of the trash that's here needs to go back home. However many invaders we have here right now, they all got to go. Afterwards, we need to start looking at people who are already here legally, and who do we need, who do we don't. That means H-1B visas and anyone else that's a lawful permanent resident or otherwise on the path to citizenship. Again, if you're a detriment to our society, you have to go. Anybody that's here that has citizenship that is actively working against America, like say members of the DSA or other entities like that, you know what? Boot them out next. Again, if you're here tearing apart Western society, we don't have to support that. You can go back home to wherever you came from and go destroy that country.
And if you're homegrown, screw you. No more EBT cards for you.
Yep.
And no more welfare for you. You've shown that you don't like the system, so the system's going to ignore you.
Yeah.
It's really it's. I remember years ago when my kids, and both of my kids are now adults, but they were like 5 and 4, and we walked the grounds of DC, and I saw a table set up near the reflecting pool, ironically enough, of DSA members, and I just laughed. I said, "God, these idiots think they stand a chance in this country, and now look at it." I'm like,
Yep.
"Holy cow! Had I known then what I know now." But not that I could have done much. But I mean, geez, it's hard to believe how quickly
Yeah.
this move towards socialism. And who do you blame mostly beyond the academics? I mean, the Democrat Party leaders have just handed their party away. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I think there are parts of. I mean, this is an orchestrated plan. You can go back to the Fabian Society over 100 years ago. This is
Yeah,
always what they wanted. It's been piece by piece, brick by brick. They put the tools in
dollar by
place.
dollar.
Yeah. Even going back to here, the big moves really were the Federal Reserve, the income tax, and then getting us off the gold standard, devalue the dollar, and then just growing government over time, making people want more and more benefits, and that's why we're in the problem we're in right now. Like again, this is what conservatives should be doing: is just shutting down some of these whole or not branches, sorry, but whole departments within government that are unconstitutional. They have no authority or right to do, and you stop this money laundering, because that's what they were doing. Is they were using your and I's tax dollars through USAID to fund their operations here and around the world. And we're still seeing this with the NGOs and other things. So that also means that the Republicans are going to have to get serious, find their testicles, and strip a lot of these places of their tax exempt status, throw people in jail where it's appropriate, and dissolve a lot of these corporations that they're using to fund their operations all over the country. And again, we have the
Oh,
legal authority to do so.
I'd love to see that. I'd love to see that. It does look like Speaker Johnson is trying to put down a marker on this and say, "Hey, look, you guys better." I mean, he said it just yesterday or the day before. He
Yeah,
said, "Yeah, we better wake up to this threat. It's real. It's not going away. It's growing. It's metastasizing, just like cancers always do. And make no
yeah,
mistake about it, it is a cancer." Now, let's talk about Europe and what's going on there. And this kid that got beaten to death on the streets of Paris, a young Parisian kid. I think he was 17 years old.
Yep.
There you go. Five North African, imagine that, migrants beat a 17-year-old boy to death.
Well, filming it on their cell phones and laughing about it.
Yeah, it's I tell you what, we joke a lot about the French, but I'll tell you something right now, and people, the French special forces, they're no joke. Those guys are hardcore. I could see some of those guys saying, let's go make these bastards pay, but I just don't know that the French government has the testicular fortitude to do anything. I
No,
mean, you would have
the
thought
people
the
there.
shooting at the Bataclan Theater uh, during that concert a few years ago would have been a wake up call.
Yeah.
I've been to France. It's a beautiful country. The people are mostly nice outside of Paris, that is, even some Parisians, if I'm honest. But they, like so many in the left, so many in Europe, have just gone so far left that there's almost no saving them at this point.
No. Nope. And in France, specifically, it's time for them to roll out the guillotines again. I think their governments betrayed them over and over again. Now that National Rally is ahead in the polling, they're doing everything they can to prevent there being another election. They've already prevented Marine Le Pen from running for the next 2 years, but her protege, he seems to be pretty good. He's on top of this, and he's been, they're looking for crimes to prosecute him for too, to keep him off the ballot. But it's pretty clear that the
Yeah, you can't get
EU.
in the way. I tell you what, though, Michael, you can't get in the way of a populist movement once it takes fire. And this is
Yeah,
happening in France. It's happening in England. Hello, Keir Starmer. Goodbye, Keir Starmer. It's happening. It's happening in Ireland, as I mentioned before. Even now in
yep,
Northern Ireland, which is actually a part of the UK. So Spain, it's happening. Um, and
yeah,
Germany, of course. Do you think that the French citizens are going to throw off the yoke of this crap and say we're done with it?
no, nope. I think a lot of these countries are like just too far gone. Unfortunately, they just don't have the will to stand. Now, maybe they will if things get bad enough. If you have, mass rioting in Paris again for 3 weeks and they burn half the city down. But I almost think you're at the point. I mean, this is the problem: is despite what you're seeing right now, they're still trying to protect the migrants that are there. They're still going after people for naughty Facebook posts in the UK. You're all
What are
racist.
they doing it? Are they doing it out of a place of genuine concern and actual virtue, or are they doing it out of place of abject fear and feeling we better do this or these people will turn? Once the
Well,
inmates
yeah,
turn on the
they're trying.
guards.
Well, yeah, they're trying to suppress them. They don't want them out there in the streets. They
No,
act
no,
like
but
talking.
I'm saying, are these governments that are going along with we're going to take every call of racism serious, all this stuff that they're
Yeah,
doing. Not nobody likes straight up racism, nobody does. But when the defense is always he was a racist, so I had to stab him 5 times, and you cuffed him while he bled out on the street, you got to
yeah,
believe me because I'm a migrant. I got a feeling that is going to run. That's not going to work well, even in France for long, especially after this kid
no,
and I just think that the government is trying to not so much appease the masses that are rising up in outrage against this stabbing. They're trying to appease the people that victimized this kid. They're
well,
trying to say, hey, we're going to go after everybody just so you guys don't get pissed off. That's what it
well,
seems
yeah,
like.
well, yeah, exactly. And they're trying to suppress the native-born French and
Yeah,
English
exactly.
citizens.
Populist.
Uh, Yes. Yeah, and I do think it's going to get to a boiling point. And if they continue to use legal maneuvers and other things to try to suppress the vote and what the people want, you're going to have no choice except for violent revolution. Because you cut off all the paths for a peaceful change. Another thing they're talking about in the UK right now is they're very afraid of, it was reform, but now it's restore. Restore, they're now trying to paint them as if they're literal Nazis. Because they're gaining support because people are tired of the half measures. Nigel Farage backed down on a lot of this stuff, and that's when Rupert Lowe left his party. He used to be his right hand man, so he
Yep.
backed down on a lot of the things he was saying originally. And the British are getting behind restore. Because again, they've already promised mass deportations and consequences for all the politicians that allowed it to happen. Um, And that's what the people want. But they are going to try to suppress that vote any way they can through maneuvers. And I think if that continues to happen at some point, you have to say, look, the government no longer represents the people. They no longer have the consent of the governed, and they are not allowing us to resolve this peacefully. So violence is the only option. And I think that's what they're pushing towards in Europe right now. Because if you don't give them that outlet and allow things to change at the ballot box, then what choice do people have?
Well, we're going to see how that actually does play out because, I mean, obviously, Keir Starmer's no longer there. Now you've got Andy Burnham coming in. Andy Burnham, by all accounts, is even more far left than Keir Starmer was, but he
Yeah,
looks better on camera and he's a better speaker and he's a nice guy.
yeah,
That's not gonna that's not gonna serve him very well if you continue to see this kind of just absolute bending over
yeah,
backwards to change your entire society based upon an immigrant base that you brought in willingly into your country. Good God, if I was a Brit, I'd be pissed off. And I
yeah.
shoot darts with Brits every Wednesday night. I've got three of my of my dart playing pals are from England, one from Ireland, but they're all UK citizens, and they are just fit to be tied over this. They were laughing their asses off when Keir Starmer got shown the door, but then they
Yeah.
warned me, Andy
You,
Burnham is no better.
you saw what Starmer's doing before he exits, right? He's releasing another 6,000 Muslim migrants, rapists, and murderers because the prisons are overcrowded. And yes,
That'll do
it's
well.
not going to just be the Muslims, but they are going to prioritize them because they're ethnic minority and they're oppressed
Yeah,
somehow.
yeah, yeah. Whatever. Good God, what
Yeah.
else is going on? Do we have anything else new and exciting to have
Well, we got
here?
one more little angle on this.
So
So
there's
there's
this.
this film, Citizen Vigilante. It stirred up all kinds of problems in Germany. It's naughty because a lot of the script is actually based on real transcripts from judges, statements they've made, statements from politicians. That this movie is too on the nose. It's about an American business owner in Germany. His wife's murdered by North African migrants, stabbed in the neck. Again, there's no justice. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm going to be watching it tonight, actually. Um, but there's no justice. They downplay it. They release them, treat them with kid gloves. So similar to like Death Wish or Nobody or whatever. It's a typical like vigilante film, except he's also going to other victims and asking them if they want to see justice. So I guess this is just too on the nose for them, especially since a lot of the script is based on things that politicians and judges have said. They tried to ban the film by not giving it a rating, so it can't be shown in theaters in Germany. It can't be on online distribution, and they're not allowed to sell DVD copies because of that. They thought they outsmarted them. Well, and then other countries across the EU are going to do the same thing, prevent it from being released today in Europe. Well, Elon Musk decided to buy the rights to it and release it online for 48 hours for free. It's already over. It was over 10 million views this morning. I'm not sure what it's at now, but you guys should check it out. And it's actually doing well in U.S. theaters, from what I hear already. So if you can afford to, go out and see it. Help support them. Otherwise, if you can't, go watch this. Go. You already follow Elon Musk, so go find his tweet and go watch this film for free.
I think we can't release it because it's too close to the truth. We don't
Exactly.
want people to see it because we think that they don't see what's happening in front of them with their own two eyes. And good God, if we put it up on the big screen, that might just be too much. Uh, for one, it stars Army Hammer. This guy's trying to desperately make a career comeback after the
Yeah.
after the
It's
cannibal allegations against him. But all that said, um, joking aside, Elon Musk was not kidding when he said he's all about absolute free speech. Because
yeah.
this is what he's saying. Oh, you're going to ban the movie? Screw you. Guess what? Boom. There you
Yeah.
go.
Well, I mean, and this is the thing, it also should be a message to Hollywood. We're tired of your trash, your propaganda nonsense, the LGBTQ embedded messaging and everything. And start making films people actually want to see, and then maybe you won't be worried about Hollywood going under in the next 3 to 5 years, because people are sick of it. We're sick of the propaganda films. We're sick of always the good guys are the bad guys. There's no moral clarity. Um, People are tired of it.
All cultures are the same. We all just want a homogenous culture. That's I mean that's it right there, isn't it? I mean they just
Yeah,
don't
that's the lie.
understand it. This is
Oh
why
yeah,
they lost their mind when Trump said shithole countries. This is why they
yeah.
lost their mind. Because to
Well,
them, the US is the biggest shithole country in the world because we impose our will. It's like, no, nah, screw you.
well, yeah. I mean, again, these people are delusional. And that's part of the problem. That's why we have to stop taking them seriously. But yeah, this film, they're saying it's Nazi propaganda, and that's the grounds to not show it in these countries. But again, it isn't. Nothing could be further from the truth. You guys just aren't willing to deal with the reality that you live in. People are finally starting to notice, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, I'm just getting this over the wires here.
Oh yeah.
Over the ticker here. U.S. has launched strikes against Iran after that drone strike last night against a Singapore tanker in the Strait of Hormuz.
Yep.
Operation was reportedly carried out in response to the recent drone attacks. Marks the first direct U.S. strike on Iran since the 14-point agreement was signed. We don't have much time left, but this is just now breaking, and it doesn't come as a shock. I saw President Trump today. He did a Q&A session after doing a little White House Oval Office meeting uh, about religious liberty in the country, and then he took Q&As. And surely, as you knew it was going to happen, the very first question to him was Iran. And
Yep.
what are you going to do? And he just said, well, you'll find out. And here we are 40 minutes later, and I guess we've just found out. He's just
Well, hopefully it is a large scale strike this time, because I think the little slap on the wrist we gave him last time was not enough. Um, I think they've got to actually feel some pain again. I mean, these are not people that we can negotiate with. That should be obvious by now. They are not going to act in good faith or be compliant. They may sign a sheet of paper here and there and then laugh about you behind the scenes. I mean,
which
you
they
know,
would
there's
do, and they do.
they're already doing it. They're saying, "Well, we didn't agree to any nuclear inspections, even though that's in the agreement." They're building up defenses around the rubble where we bomb their nuclear material
Yeah,
right
the
now. They're
bomb on
literally
men right
pouring
now.
concrete. Well, pretty soon we're just going to have to, unleash the sun on them. You know, nuke them till they glow green, then shoot them in the dark.
Well, I hope it doesn't come to that. But I would say that this is why, and we kind of discussed this a little bit off air, Michael, is that people sit there and say, oh, Trump, how stupid, get us in this never ending war. Iran has been at war with the entire civilized world for the better part of a half a century, 47 coming up on 48 years now. Almost every Islamic terror group that you've ever heard of is either founded by Iran, funded by Iran, supported by Iran, and propped up by Iran. So
Yeah.
Trump says enough of this crap, and he goes in there. Was it a bigger problem than he thought it would be? Probably. But at least
Yeah.
he had the balls to say, screw you. And now he's saying it again. And I'm wondering, I don't know what the rallying cry is going to be for the rest of the EU and NATO to get involved here. I mean, I know that Democrats have gone full blown. This is all Israel's doing. No, the hell, it's not Israel's doing. We've got over 12,000 dead Americans thanks to that government. Thank you very much. Going back to 79, I could do a whole laundry list of reasons that we should wipe that country off the face of the earth. But
Yeah.
I am curious as to how. I mean, yeah, and this is and I think you know this true too, Michael. The majority of Iranians hate their government, hate it,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
are tortured. I mean, how do you help Iran uh, by eliminating Iran?
Well, I mean, I think we've got to target their government. There's a city called Jerkaren there where most of their elected and appointed officials live in. I mean, I think this would be a great opportunity to bring back the Daisy Cutter and just wipe that completely off the map. That won't harm any of the citizens, other than probably some that are working there. But there's going to be some,
Yeah,
ancillary
yeah,
casualties. But I think at this point, that's the message you send. You fly in a bunch of our largest bombers with Moabs and Daisy Cutters, and you literally level that entire city. I mean, I think that
I
sends
think
the right message.
look, I have
Oh,
no doubt.
and Khomeini's grave that needs a bunker buster. We also ought to send one down that well their prophet's supposed to be in, the 12th Imam. Make sure he's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, make sure he's okay. In 600 years, he hasn't woken yet. Maybe a bunker buster or a daisy cutter will get him to rouse. Um, well, I guess we're all about to find out because Trump just did green light this strike.
Yeah.
Um, and I agree with you. I think that if if some Iranian official says Trump is doggy's old bluster, that Iranian official should be pushing up daisies of his own the very next day. And I think Trump ought to make it abundantly clear: you come out here and talking smack, I've decided I'm going to end you for that. I mean, that may sound harsh, but these people have killed people. I mean, they killed over 35,000 of their own damn people less than a year ago. For God's sakes, they
Yeah.
don't care. Oh God. Well,
I mean, again, I think at this point, the only thing they're going to understand is force. So I think every member of their government is a valid target. Take them all out. And again, I would wipe out that entire city, Jericho. It's their fortress. This is where their leadership lives. I get that there's some people that work in there that are normal citizens or whatever, but I'm willing to make that sacrifice because I think
well,
that's
you know what?
the
I guarantee you that I guarantee you there's intel operatives in there, certainly
yeah,
from Mossad, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if there's some CIA,
CIA or whatever.
not only CIA, probably other, you know, Delta Squad type, SEAL type dudes that are human intel in there right now, and they ought
Yeah.
to find out where every member of the IRGC lives, and they ought to wipe them all out at once, because they are bad. Those are the guys that are standing in the way of all of this, I think.
Yeah. I think you level that city to send a message, and then target anyone else individually that's part of their leadership or their military structure, or regular old terrorist group, and yeah, we just don't stop until everything's smoldering. Then we can try to figure out who didn't have a negotiation with if there's anybody left to do that.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, anyway, there we are. Anyway, the moral of the story is don't embrace communism and none of this crap will happen.
Yes,
To complete to
right.
complete the circle. I mean, look, folks, take these elections that we can smirk and we can laugh about what happened in New York City with the kingmaker Zoran Mandami. But be very wary of it because it could be coming to a town near you, if not your own town, very, very soon. So guard against it. You got anything else to say, Michael, before we say our goodbyes?
This is interesting. So, also just breaking, it looks like the DOJ just lost their case about the Epstein redactions. The judge is ordering them to release the rest of the files and remove all the redactions.
Which court?
Uh, U.S. District Judge Emmett Sullivan.
A DOJ is going to take that to the Supreme Court, and I hope the Supreme Court says we're not going to see it. They
Why?
need to release all of that stuff.
Well, yeah. Well, that's what this judge just told them is they have to release it.
Yeah,
So hopefully
I
it
know,
goes
but
up
I mean,
and they
the
get shut.
DOJ is not going to release it. They're not going to release it now.
Well, you know what? Start throwing them in jail. Maybe that'll change it.
Yeah, maybe
They're in
so.
violation.
I mean,
Hey,
you never know. You got Todd Blanche in charge now, and he has certainly been a hawk on the Epstein thing. But you've also got Trump that's saying, "Look, I don't
he,
want to destroy innocent people."
Trump, yeah, well, I would hardly call him a hawk on the Epstein thing. He's been out there in press conferences saying, well, I can't find any crimes in these files. There's nobody to prosecute. If you find somebody, let us know. He literally said that.
I know,
Todd
but
Blanche.
I'm saying that he was instrumental in the initially saying we're going to release it all. But Trump
Yeah.
put on the brakes and said, "Look, you're going to destroy a lot of innocent people." I'm sure they would, by the way, destroy a
Oh,
lot of
well.
innocent people. I don't know. That's going to, you know what I love about this story that you just broke? It gives us a lot more to talk about next week, not to mention what's going on with Iran. I mean, it's a never
Yeah,
ending story of these are the days of our lives. I do
pretty
hope
much.
I do hope that these redactions are pulled real soon, but
Yeah, and the other 3.5 million documents they still owe us and 10,000 videos and all that. Yeah.
we'll see. Believe it when it happens, but we'll see. All right, Michael. Listen, brother, I appreciate you. Have a wonderful weekend, and everybody have a wonderful weekend. 4th of July weekend coming up, Michael. 250th. You going to be doing anything big?
Nope.
Fireworks in Utah, perhaps?
Yeah, I wish. Nope, I'll probably just be sitting here like I always do, like a loser.
All right. Listen, thanks everybody for joining Right Hook. We'll be back with you next week. Until then, have a good one. Goodbye.